right, let's make sure it's up. There we go. Yeah. Nice.
Friend. Taylor and Paula right now, right?
He'll be right about now.
All right. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for tuning in for night 4 of Roodiculous Stories from the Farm. We are the Parachute People. It's Casey and Ron here from the Parachute People, and we are with some of our best friends from media tonight, sharing some awesome stories. They're also just Bonnaroo lovers too. They don't just take photos and videos, and we are excited to hear some of their stories. So yeah, Ron, give us a quick intro.
All right, awesome. Well, Casey, where are you reporting in from?
I'm reporting in from Boston, Massachusetts.
Awesome. And I'm at an engagement party here in Columbus, Ohio. So doing it all, trying to stay socially distant, but also connecting with the Roo fam. And right here in this group is what I consider my Roo fam. Up first, we have Yvonne Gougelet. She is coming in from Florida.
Tampa, yep.
Tampa, Florida.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see, the pretty lady with the cool background, we have Brittany Hallberg coming in from Texas, right?
Yep, Austin, Texas. I'm surprised you know my real last name. That's awesome.
Is it pronounced Nofimo?
Right? Nofimo, yeah.
And last but not least, I'm so glad I was able to connect with this guy. He is always busy hustling, and I know he's been doing some really awesome work covering some really important issues in the protests. We have Jay Sansoni from New York City. How's it going? Oh, we got you muted there.
There we go.
Right. There it
Happy
is.
to be here. Happy to be here.
Amazing.
Awesome. Yeah, so we'll start with Yvonne. Just give us a quick, 1-2 about yourself, and tell us your like Bonnaroo history.
Well, this would have been my 14th Bonnaroo in a row. So, I mean, that's really all I need to say, right? I attended for 10 years as a diehard Bonnaroovian, and I would travel from New York to Bonnaroo for 10 years, and then I kind of started to learn a little bit about the industry, and I started working behind the scenes a little bit. So for the past 3 years, I've had the opportunity to work a little bit behind the scenes. So yeah, that's it in a nutshell.
Awesome. How about you, Jay?
I think this would have been my, this would have been my 11th Bonnaroo.
What?
Yeah. Totally bummed about that, but I'll hold on 10 for a little bit. 10's a good number.
Yeah.
So the first 2 Bonnaroos I went to, well, forever I wanted to go to Bonnaroo, and I finally made it down. And the first 2, I went as a fan, and then, over the first 3, and then the third time I loved it so much, I was like, I want all my friends back home to like see see this, right? So then I snuck a camera in. And at that point you couldn't, it was like, cameras, DSLRs were a new thing. So like I took off the lens, and, security guards at that point didn't really know. And so I snuck the camera in, and then I made a video. And that video went viral-ish for our community, at least for Bonnaroovians.
Mm-hmm.
And then about a couple months later, I got called in by Superfly, who was managing parks at that time, and I was like, oh my God, am I going to get sued? Like, what did I do? I broke the rules. And then they were just like, hey, this was cool. Why don't you just do it officially for us next year?
Nice.
And then I did it officially for them for the next 8 years, and that kind of branched off into like daily videos, and we do 5, 6, 7 videos at a festival. Yeah, pretty crazy. So that's my origin story.
That's awesome. Yeah. And how about you, Brittany?
You're going to make me go after that? So I've been to Bonnaroo 5 times, so this would have been my 6th. And my way of getting into festivals was like launching my own website called No Fear of Missing Out. it's dead, doesn't matter now, but it was my way of saying that I was a journalist. That's how I snuck my camera in, started documenting. But then over the years, I was working with different artists and different platforms and telling different stories throughout my time there. And, I've been to Bonnaroo alone. I've been to Bonnaroo somewhat alone, then meeting up with you guys to save me. I've been there with my camera. I've been there without my camera. So it's just been, I lived many lives at Bonnaroo. It's my community, and it's really great to see, like, even my New York friends, House of Yes, now have a barn out there, and meet up with you guys from across the nation there. So it's a special place in my heart.
Aw, that's beautiful. All right, well, let's get started with some stories. I'm interested to hear, like, what's your favorite part of Bonnaroo, like, as an attendee versus, like, working it or shooting it?
I'll start for sure. I mean, the reason. So much of what I do is like storytelling, right? I have to take the images, make them look beautiful, but also like convey something and have a beginning, middle, and end of some sort. And for me, the thing that was always what's so easy at Bonnaroo is to convey that message of unity and positivity. Because like the first time I went, I was a New Yorker leaving New York City, going down there, and you leave New York City, which is anger and honking nonstop. And then you just show up, and all of a sudden the people next to you over here and people next to you over here are the nicest people you ever met in your life. I'm like, what is this, like a Tennessee thing? Like, I don't get it. Like, is everybody like drunk? And then you walk another 10 feet and everybody's super nice. And then all of a sudden it's like infectious. And then everything about it's so infectious that like you glow and you just take it with you when you come back. And I remember being back from Bonnaroo my first year, being in New York and being like, this is like, it was a different world. And it all stems from like the music is great and the the grounds are amazing, but the people are what make it. It could be you make those same people and it's all like it's a metal concert or it's classical music. It doesn't matter, right? It's the people that make Bonnaroo incredible. And then at the same time, just shooting. It's like I think we all can agree that like you get like at Bonnaroo, like a 98% success rate from going up to a random person and asking them to take their photograph. In the real world, it's like 20%, 10% maybe. And that's what makes Bonnaroo special. It's the people. That's all I got.
Awesome. Yeah, that's wonderful. That's so true. I mean, we keep talking about it. I think every night we've talked about it, how just like our interactions with our friends and the people that we meet that become our friends is, I mean, it's the reason that we're here doing this, right? I mean, it's just a beautiful place to meet other awesome and amazing people.
Absolutely.
Hey, Vaughn, I can tell you have stuff brewing in your head over there.
I'm actually just taking it all in, and I'm really happy that we're doing this because it's really starting to hit that this would have been, the night that we all would have been getting ready for the headliner right now, Sunday night. I don't even know what the headliner would have been tonight. I don't want to know. But this is Sunday night is for us on the video team and, on the media team, we really can't technically party throughout the weekend. We want to be as professional as possible. And, we all take it incredibly seriously, although we have an incredible time doing what we love. And it's an honor to be a part of documenting the best weekend of our lives. But we all take it very seriously. But Sunday night is when, when the cameras are wrapped, that's when, this is the night that we all have a little something to drink and you never know what's going to happen. So, I'm just absorbing it and taking it all in right now, that it's a bit of a mind trip that Bonnaroo, that it started with the pandemic. And then now all of a sudden it's this revolution, that this Black revolution, we were talking about it before, that it's so important that it's almost like the pandemic needed to happen in order for this revolution to happen. And so yeah, it feels like this sacrifice that none of us are going to get to experience festivals this year or sports or social life, but the reward is this awakening that our society needed. So anyway, didn't mean to take it into that realm, but
That's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about
It's
a
a
favorite
powerful
part
point.
of Bonnaroo?
a favorite part of Bonnaroo. Okay, so Bonnaroo for me is like this. There's a magic. There's this magic feeling. You know, I work a lot of festivals. I get to attend a lot of festivals around the country. But when you are on the road to Bonnaroo, your mind frame becomes this like vibration of radiating positivity and that the universe is going to provide. And you don't have to worry about anything. And everything will be okay. No matter what, when you get there, everything will work out. You're going to see your friends. You're going to have the best weekend of your life. And it's like, it's this magic bubble of energy that we all collectively feel. And you don't feel that at any other festival. I'm sorry, but you just don't. You don't. I love a lot of other festivals, but there's something about the Bonnaroo magic that you're just like, only at Bonnaroo! And I know you all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, so true. Yeah,
So
it's so much more than a place. Yeah.
it's a mind frame and it's an energy that you really can't even articulate. But I feel like we were all feeling it at that moment. I hope we all were. So that's my favorite part is the Rue magic. So yeah.
Awesome. How about you, Brittany?
Yeah, just to pick up on that, like the road to Bonnaroo, the road trip, to symbolize this whole conversation, every time I drive out, there's always a rainbow that we drive through, hands down every year. And Yvonne, we actually met in a very Bonnaroo way. I'm going to butcher the story, but basically we found a home together in a hotel room before Bonnaroo began, and like finding friends even before the gates are open is kind of
Exactly.
another way. Yeah, it's kind of answers what Bonnaroo is all about. And not to get too like article focused, but I did cover for Everfest or Fest 300 about what makes a Bonnaroovian. And obviously, the radiate positivity is something that you pick up pretty much only, like every festival is uplifting, but the radiate positivity is so strong at Bonnaroo, and you take that home with you when you're there. And my highlights were that everyone is a team player, from the high five Fridays to like just people saving you on the dance floor with sharing their water, and like the consciousness of it, how there's always like the help the earth or a charity element involved, and leave no trace type of mentality, and then the family vibes to just like overall acceptance there. You can be yourself. You can be your wild, crazy self at Bonnaroo, and people will open their arms and accept you and take you in. And it's just a magical land where you can let your freak flag fly. And I think all of us have done that very strongly there. So many favorite things, but Bonnaroovians are a real human race, and they're great.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You mentioned that freak flag. The parachute people have one of the largest freak flags on the farm, the big colorful one, and like that. It's obvious to know that like the parachute really brought these people together. But before I get into the story, if you're listening in, if you have questions for Jay, Yvonne, or Brittany, these people are always behind the scenes. They have some really cool access, so you can imagine like the cool stuff that goes on backstage. So if you have any questions, we're gonna look in the comments and we'll rifle them away. But how we're all connected here, I want to share this really cool story. It was 2018. We had a lot of help to get some things in, and you kind of just run and gun and go on the fly. 2018 was the year we had this big, giant, inflatable one was called a pegacorn or a unicorn with wings. We called it Queen Bubbles. And there's a really awesome photo of the crew helping us smuggle in this 25-foot inflatable. And without the help of a very convenient golf cart at the time,
Well, first,
happened.
yeah. Well, we had this great idea that we wanted to bring this thing into the festival, right? But when we started blowing it up, we realized it was what, like 20 feet long. I mean, the thing was massive, and it was like 7 feet tall too. And we're blowing it up at our campsite, and then we realized we had to like somehow get it into the festival, and like so serendipitously, like Yvonne just showed up on a golf cart, and she was like, "Oh, hey, what are you guys doing? Is this yours?"
You guys are you're ratting me out. No, I'm kidding.
And we're like, "Yeah, this is ours," and we're like, "Oh, okay."
I mean, yeah. You're ratting me out, Jay. Jay, this didn't happen. This didn't happen.
I didn't. It errored. I didn't see it. It glitched.
Okay, good. I was out doing audio interviews to do audio interviews for Human Being Media for the official recap videos for Bonnaroo for Jay and the team. And I was like, I know where I need to go. I need to go to the Supergroup campground because those are the diehard Bonnarooians. That's where I'm going to get the good stuff. I'm going to go meet the diehard fans out there. So I was driving around in the middle of the day on the golf cart with my sound guy. And all of a sudden, I'm like, I see the unicorn. And I'm like, oh, what's that? And then like Ron pops out. And I'm like, oh, drive up. And they're like, we have to do this this thing. And I'm like, all right, let's. So we threw the unicorn on top, this like 50-pound, there's video.
Oh yeah.
There's video, there's photos. And I thought that I was going to get in trouble. And Jay, I apologized for, taking this liberty of doing this, sneaking this giant unicorn in. But Bonnaroo ended up posting a photo of the unicorn on top of the golf cart. And I thought, okay, I think I'm good. So
yeah, I think we asked for forgiveness rather than permission.
Yeah, I hear that.
I mean, it was so much fun once we got it inside and everybody was bouncing around. And this is the largest floaty I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was the one that you buy at Walmart, and it's like we saw it going around on the internet, and we reached out to people like, hey, we want this. Where can we get it? And they were sold out everywhere. But luckily, someone from our group was like, hey, I saw one hanging on display. Do you want me to get it? And we were like, yes, lock it down. And because of that, we got the unicorn in, or the big rainbow unicorn in. And another thing happened, like once we got it in, we had some more fun with it. And we incorporated the help of Brittany Hallberg to kind of parade around when we had a big unicorn onesie meetup in the late night. You want to tell that story?
I don't know. I feel like my memory of it is also like through my lens and just like magical creatures running across and trying to capture the right moment at the right time. Anytime that you text me something's about to happen or meet me at this stage, I am there. I try my hardest to get there because I know there's going to be something popping off. So I don't want to ruin the story. You're better at storytelling, but I'm going to jump in when necessary. But go with the onesies. Start with the onesies.
Yeah. We wanted to do something really fun within our group, and we asked everyone, hey, who's down to buy a bulk order of unicorn onesies? And we had our friend Jason Dorn do a special shipment internationally, and we got probably 30 to 40 unicorn onesies, Casey?
Yeah, I think within trying to go to bed, we had like 30 or 40, and then there were a few other people that just like showed up because we posted it online, like, hey, we're doing this unicorn party, who wants to join? And there were a whole bunch of other people that weren't from our group camp that came and joined in on the fun.
Yeah, and all of this was very intentional because The unicorn was a really big hit last year in 2017, and I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with the Roodicorn, but at the Res set in 2017, everyone bowed down and started worshiping this little toy figurine, and it became known as the Roodicorn. People were throwing dollar bills at it.
Well, first the Roodicorn was breakdancing.
Mm-hmm.
It was
Oh,
spinning.
that video.
Yeah.
That video is iconic. Iconic video that I think saved Bonnaroo, by the way. I have a theory, but
It
whatever.
was the wookiest thing I've ever seen Bonner happen. I'm like, what is going on? Like, this is like, we're into a whole nother like realm in ball field with this. So like, we saw that and like, we got to follow that up. And I reached out to the owner of the Roodicorn. His name is Michael. And I was like, dude, we got to go bring it back with like a bang. And we coordinated with him to make this whole like grand entrance. And that's where we got the inflatable unicorn to kind of be like the procession and all the unicorns around it. We really wanted to give this idea of like a unicorn cult, essentially.
Love it.
Yeah, that was so much fun. Yeah, we did the whole parade. We got all the unicorns and just paraded this massive pegacorn around the Christmas barn, and then back over to the stage where who was it? Rufus Du Sol was playing. And then just set up there, revealed the Roodicorn to everybody, and it was just like madness after that.
And no one, like, if it's one of those things at Bonnaroo, if there weren't video footage, you would just think that like, oh man, some hippie's tripping out and just making up stuff. Like, I just saw this huge unicorn and a bunch of people in onesies just like following each other, and all of a sudden they revealed this. And that's why I reached out to Brittany to really just be our like paparazzi for that moment. And she was following us along with our friend Justin to capture like everyone's reactions as like all these 30 unicorns were holding it above their head, right, Casey? And we were parading it from that tent all the way to the other. And the goal was to get it there in time for Rufus Du Sol, because the grand marshal of this Roodicorn parade was led by our friend Jason, and he absolutely loves Rufus Du Sol.
I love those pictures, Brittany. When I first saw those photos come out, because I wasn't there for that nighttime, but that photo is like iconic. I love that photo. It's such a good photo.
You're so sweet. There's some silly moments. I had my fisheye and a flash, just ready for anything to happen.
It was perfect. I love those pictures.
I love seeing adults act like they're 3 years old. It's fantastic.
It's Bonnaroo. It's Bonnaroo.
Bonnaroo. But the best part was just like anything that, the parachute and the unicorn and the whole team was doing, anyone on the sidelines was jumping in immediately. There was no hesitation. Everyone's like, I want to get in on this ridiculousness. And yeah, a lot of happy faces captured in that moment.
Yeah, and what we didn't really think about after that whole event was like, where are we gonna put this damn thing?
Yeah, how do we get this back?
How do we get it back? So that's why we're thinking on the fly, and this is the Bonnaroo family here, and you guys are very familiar with Amish donuts, or I guess Peach Bakery donuts.
Peaches. They're in Sarasota. They're like an hour away from me, you guys.
Oh, no way.
I'm going to start a business where I'm going to start mailing Amish donuts to Bonnaroovians. How do you guys think about that?
As long as they're
model?
shipped on a unicorn, we're good.
I'll throw you some money for that.
No, I'm going to start shipping you guys Amish donuts. That's what I want to do with my quarantine time.
Can I get a subscription?
Subscription! I've thought about this legitimately. I'm like, Bonnaroovians, I live an hour away from that donut truck. How can I ship hot donuts? I've thought about it.
I can tell you thought about it. I can tell you thought about it. This is very serious.
They're an hour away from me. You guys, I could ship you hot Amish donuts. All right, okay. All right. Hold on.
No, so shout out to Amish Donuts Peaches, because we talked to the manager and was like, hey, we did this thing. Could we just store this back behind your vending place? And they're like, oh, hell yeah, man. We love what you do. Like, we saw that earlier. Our staff was taking pictures of it. And that right there is just a sign of like just Bonner community just looking out for another. Like we're trying to just spread happiness and do weird stuff. It may be off the cuff and not in the books, but like they see the intention of it, and that's just to entertain and provide happiness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one day we've got to tell that entire story, like front to back, as like an animated, like YouTube video or something.
Ooh, that's a good idea. An animated
Yeah.
story. Yeah.
Jay, do you know some people?
I think I do. I might actually.
Jay.
You have to kind of loop it back over to Jay. Like, so that whole Runicorn moment was just like after years and years of trial and error of trying to like one up each other. But Jay, our first interaction together was, I think, 2015 or 2016. Well, actually, no, even before that, 2014 is actually the reason why this parachute was like, is the reason why we saw like the whole how really big and how impactful we can be with this, because like that 2014 after movie, you had the most beautiful like pan shots of people underneath the parachute.
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now.
These slow motions, and I can see it. I've seen it so many times. Like you were playing Van Goy, and it's slow motion. There's a guy reaching up with like the reflection of the colors, and this girl crawling, and every single time I get chills, and it's because of you, Jay, that it really set this idea off. And like I have nothing but praise and love for you, dude.
It's not because of me, man. I was just the lens that happened to be the right place at the right time. It's because of you guys. I just happened to record it. What's really funny about this year, though, is that this is the year that we had a body cam. So we brought down what's what they call the Snorri cam, right? So it's essentially you attach it to a person's body. In a Bonnaroo, it's like, you go put it on Eddie Vedder or something. That's not cool. What's cool is like the Bonnaroovians doing it. So like all day, all night, we would just like give everybody this body cam, press record, and be like, let's go run and do something. And that's the year where people like we didn't realize that you needed to like keep people on a leash because they're just gone.
Take off.
That's so cool.
And it's just like, it's not cheap. We didn't have a cheap camera on there. We had like a nice camera, and there was one time where it just disappeared. And then, but it's Bonnaroo, so it's like, that like half an hour later, guy just showed up. It's like, hey man, what's going on? Like, oh, thank God you came back. Yeah, that was awesome. I haven't watched this video in a long time.
I may know how it may have disappeared, because like when you choose those people will live with that memory for a lifetime. Casey, our friend Margie, who came with us last year, she was one of the people that wore the body cam, and she's gleaming to this day. So like when you select people, like my friend, it's like they talk about it for years. Like my friend Sarah, you did another body cam maybe 2 years ago.
Yeah, so we brought it back.
Yeah, she had it during Lonnie Laney. And
I have pictures of her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's because of human being media, like of doing really cool, innovative like camera shots that really like respected you guys. And like it was 2 years ago when you did, Yvonne, you remember this, the whole wisping around thing?
Oh my gosh, I love that. Yeah, the helicopter with the GoPro thing.
Dude, that was like, I got a text message from Ron, and this was the first year that I was like working with Jay and the whole team and everything. And I get a text message, and he's like, hey, we're about to go pop off. It was Big Wild.
Oh yeah, at the other.
Big Wild. And I was like, all right, guys, roof shoot, Big Wild, right now, let's go. And we're like, running through, and we've got the equipment, and then I was like, okay, Ron, we're gonna film you, but we want you to swing this like thing inside the camera, like inside the parachute. And I love that shot. Like it's such an iconic, it's swinging around Ron, and you just can't get, I mean, oh my God. Wait, Jay, was it on a hanger? What?
It was on
a hanger, yeah.
Yeah, so that was like we had to rig it. We had to just create it. I mean, it's an idea that I've seen implemented before. I think it was in like a Grizz video somewhere, or I think his guy had done it, and we kind of just like recreated it soup to nuts, and we looked, you could YouTube anything. And I think it was our producer Tanner. He's like, I got it, because he's like, he can engineer anything. So he essentially, it was a string, a clothes hanger, like a screwdriver, and then you whip it around. But then you have to put a little bit of a flap on there to, like, it's something about like wind dynamics. And he's a pilot, so he understood it. I was like, I don't know the physics. I just have the idea. And it works. I have no idea how it works, but it works, and it looks super rad, because it's like the Matrix, goes around you in a circle.
Yeah, once you slow it down, it was perfect. Yeah.
It's really something that Brittany said, and something that Yvonne keeps on saying, is that it's text from Ron, TFR, text from Ron, like whatever the plan is, change it, because I need a guy wherever Ron is right now.
TFR
on the walkie.
That's gonna be our new code.
There we go.
TFR.
And you know what? If anyone here listening, you guys know text going through at Bonnaroo was a miracle. So room magic was on our side, because like there are days when I'm trying to like get a hold of Jay or Yvonne, and like you get that exclamation point. You're like, okay, it's not sending, and then the next day you're just like, you're seeing text, you're like, please ignore that.
But you end up running into each other anyway.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Oh man.
All right.
I saw some questions. What were like some of the what are some like cool moments from backstage that maybe people don't know about?
I made a list.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I did a little bit of, I've been drinking tequila, so I was like, all right. No, it was really, I'm really happy that we had a chance to do this tonight, because I feel like I haven't had a chance to pay the honor and respect to Bonnaroo and give my love and even just think about Bonnaroo this weekend. I haven't even given it a lot of thought, because there's a lot of important things going on, but Bonnaroo is very important for me. And so I'm just really thankful to have this day to meditate on Bonnaroo and what Bonnaroo is all about, right? But I thought about some like behind the scenes secrets that a lot of people don't know about. There's a couple things. So Sunday night, backstage, after the headliner has finished finished the performance, whoever's performing on stage it's wrapped, Bonnaroovians will make their way back to the campgrounds. But there's a little thing that happens backstage, and it's a crawfish broil. And it's like and Ron, I snuck you in one year. It's a tradition at Bonnaroo where the producers throw a little after party for artists and guests of artists, staff, and it's a little bit of a tradition, and it's every year Sunday night backstage in the artist hospitality area, and it's a New Orleans broil. So I don't know, that's one little secret that I don't think a lot of people really know about. So yeah, that was fun.
It's a fun place to like finally see the other creatives and maybe some of the Bonnaroo staff and stuff like that. That to me has always been like the finish line. And whenever I'm there, I'm just like, yay, I made it. And then it's just like I'm so dead, because we're doing daily videos. We're doing what, like 18-hour, 19-hour days, and then sleeping you go to sleep at 6 a.m. every night, because we're filming till sunrise, and then we have to be up by 11 to start filming again before the music starts. So we are zombie people by Sunday night.
And you're like editing on the fly too, right?
We're also cutting. Yeah. So the video team is we're shooting all day, all night, and then we're also editing. So we are doing essentially. So when we finally end up going to sleep at 6 a.m, editors are cutting, or generally one editor is cutting until we have to show the Bonnaroo staff at like 10 a.m, and then we start again. And it's a lot. But my favorite thing about the grounds and shooting the grounds is, for some reason, like nowhere else, I know where the light falls so well, so well. Magic hour, which is the half an hour, 40 minutes before the sun sets. You're at the fountain. The light's going to be trickling through there perfectly. Everyone's going to be glistening with halo and like light on their shoulders, and the light's going to be refracting everywhere. Absolutely perfect. Sun setting, you go over the other stage, right to the right behind, right by the tree. The sky, Tennessee sky, sunset, middle of June, just bam, always orange, purple, pink, amazingness. And then depending on the set, someone's always dancing in perfect silhouette right there. It's just magic. And then right at dusk, you turn around just a bit, and the Ferris wheel is lit up perfectly with just like blue, subtle, super subtle blue hues that just kind of like just fall into the background with the Ferris wheel and all the colors, and then you're off to nighttime. But that's my favorite part of like filming Bonnaroo, knowing where the light is.
That was like the most, that was everything that I feel in those moments, like put into words. That was incredible.
Did we just sit in a masterclass by Jay? Wow.
Yes, Bonnaroo masterclass. How to document. Yeah.
Amazing. Really quick to piggyback off that, because I really want to hear if Brittany has any cool backstage stories. That year you snuck me in, Yvonne, that I will forever live with that, and thank you for that, with a little room magic, and was able to go back in 2015. This was while Billy Joel was playing, so I had to sacrifice watching Billy Joel to go back to this crawfish boil. But I saw two really awesome people I never would have seen before. One, the living legend Danny Clinch. I was like 20 feet from him. I know, Brittany, you're like, yep, idol right there. I didn't know who he was, but people were just whispering, oh, dude, that's Danny Clinch. And then later that year, I was like, oh, this guy's a big deal. Yeah. And then the second one, I saw Jim James from afar. And I'm like, wow. Oh my gosh, that's my Morning Jacket dude. And that's all I got.
Wait, but what about when we went under the roof shoot? We snuck in. So roof shoot started in 2014, and that was when you, me, Jay, and Brian Hensley were on Instagram, and that was when, before Instagram became super popular. This was like late 2014. And we were the diehard Bonnaroovians that were promoting Bonnaroo on Instagram. This was like before Instagram got super popular.
Yeah.
And so it was like the core group. And we were under the little mini roof shoot. We snuck a mini parachute backstage because I was like, people need to know that work at Bonnaroo. They need to know about roof shoot. So let's bring a mini parachute backstage so that they know about it. And remember who you were under the roof shoot with?
Oh yeah. So that was the moment I met McLovin. We had the actor that played McLovin, Chris Mintz, class. Yeah. He saw the little mini parachute and was like, I got to get in on this. And that forever is like one of the stories like I will tell.
I had to remind you of that one because I thought that was pretty iconic. Anyway, whatever. Anyway.
You guys have so many mic drops. I'm like, I'm just here to listen. These are great stories. I thought I was cool until I joined this meeting. Yeah.
No, Brittany, you're like a whimsical fairy when it comes to like being at the right place at the right time. Like you said, like there's one year that Brittany was looking for a ride to Bonnaroo. And she was stranded coming in from New Jersey. And I'm like, all right, let's use the power of social media for social good. Let's help out a friend. We did a call out, and sure enough, within half an hour, she was able to find a ride. Because if not, she would have just like left the ticket and would not have been there.
Wow.
The power of Ron saving my life multiple times. Yeah, but to piggyback off of like the backstage access, Not as cool as all these stories, but if there's any other photographer out there, the moment that you know you kind of made it when it comes to Bonnaroo is that when you get to check your email and get approved to shoot in the pit at the what stage, the main stage, and you get to be paraded from the back in the press area to the what stage through the backside and then brought to the pit. And I got to shoot like Dead and Co. That was super memorable for me. And other moments where you just like you're just standing next to the Rolling Stone photographer, some people you recognize, and you're like, I did it, you know? I got here. And there's many times where you get an email that's like, yeah, Red Hot Chili Peppers doesn't want any of you guys in here. And you're like, cool, understand. But it was one moment where you're like, yeah, you're approved and you have 10 minutes to run over there. That's kind of the backstage moments that I really appreciate because it's like a little career high five moment, you know? So.
Yeah, that made me think. It's really interesting. It made me think. I think for those that think that are very interested with backstage, I mean, I think it kind of goes the same for all concerts. Like, it's kind of cool, but the real fun, the real awesomeness is happening out where everybody else is. Like, people are working backstage. It's kind of really it. The pit, though, as something Brittany said, like when you're like in the pit and like your idols are up there like 2 feet from you, that's pretty cool when you're taking imagery from the pit. Those moments are like, oh my God moments. That's pretty
and the best is when the festival goers, our community is looking at you in the pit and like, you go girl, you get that shot, you do that. And they're like trying to pass you bubbles or some water to like encourage you. And I just look back and honestly, I'm sorry guys, but we do have the best view from the pit and it's not even the musicians. It's like turning around and seeing all your glowing faces looking at your idols on stage. Like I've definitely cried a million times looking at that view. And then I forget that like I'm supposed to be like doing my job. But the sunset over the crowd, the stars over the crowd, and everyone cheering you on, doing what you're passionate about, like you can't beat those moments.
Hell yeah. Lightning round question. All right, each of you, 1 or 2 answers. What was that, oh my gosh moment, I'm here? Who was that like I never thought I would shoot this from the pit artist?
Ooh.
Wow.
It's a tough one. It's tough to choose.
Yeah. Yvonne, I know you yeah?
I mean, I could start with the first moment that it ever happened for me at Bonnaroo.
Yeah, sure. Quick answer, who?
The quick answer was Florence and the Machine. It was 2015.
Oh,
nice.
A friend slapped on a photo pass, and it was my first time in the photo pit at Bonnaroo after attending as a patron for 10 years and sneaking my camera. And it was like, oh, wow, this is what it's like to be in the photo pit. Florence and the Machine. And that was my first time at being allowed in the pit because a friend kind of snuck me in. So,
nice.
Yeah.
Jay, you got a quick answer?
Yeah, it's like the big names are amazing, but sometimes it's just the small names that I connect with. Like Tallest Man on Earth is one of my all-time favorites, and I just happened to be side stage walking through, going to another spot, and I was like, "Is that the Tallest Man?" And I just kind of walked on to the stage because I was like, I should probably get some footage here, right? I definitely need some footage, and I just kind of hung out for the whole set because he's like my all-time favorite, and it was awesome. It's just all kinds of awesome.
are you ready? Yeah.
Sorry, I don't want to cut it off. Again, yeah, those big names you can't beat, but I love the year, and I think it was 2016 where I discovered Leon Bridges for myself.
Ooh, yeah.
And Bonnaroo is so good at bringing people who deserve the stage to the stage. And I just had a moment with him. I mean, he didn't know I existed, but I had a moment with Leon Bridges. It was the same year with him and Charles Bradley, so I had a nice soulful
Wow.
time. When the pit is empty because people don't know the names and you're just there having a moment with the artist. So,
What about? I'm interested to hear like what are some of like the challenges that you guys face? Because childish when he like got off stage. He just kind of like was running around, and even if like Florence, you mentioned earlier, she was literally sprinting around the pit area. I mean, how challenging is that to capture those moments?
Every
Well, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say everything's about right place and right time in this world. Like you can prepare your best, but honestly, it's those moments and those photos that people remember. It's like you just happen to be there. But from a technical standpoint, when you know the artist is going to be running around, if you're even like farther back on any elevated area, um, and zooming in, you can get some really amazing moments where the artist is actually like you can get the crowd in there with the artist. Um, but otherwise, I don't know. I've just had some friends at the right place at the right time and like predicting the future type of thing. Yeah.
It's interesting because as image makers, photographers, and cinematographers, and any other time besides a concert setting, we're controlling the lighting. What we do is putting light onto film or light onto a sensor, right? But on a concert, we have no control of light. We can't use flash. We can't use any lighting systems. Everything is coming from the lighting rig and the LD. So in many ways, the LD is helping us. Is our gaffer? Is our partner in making the image? But we have no connection with them. We don't talk to them. We don't know what the hell is going to go on. How the light's going to change. So much of what we do, like Brittany said, is just predicting the future. What is he going to do? What's the music going to do in the next couple seconds? That's going to change the music. It's going to change the lighting, and like the way the LD lights it will affect your imagery 100% of the way. Like if it's like the year Kanye was there, the most recent one, I think he was just on a white screen with no light up front, so we couldn't. I mean, what could we do? It was just silhouette. Or like STS9, for instance, those guys will just be in full silhouette with swirls behind them, and it's like, all right, well, if you wanted to get detail in the face, you're not going to get it. So then you kind of have to play off those ideas. And then your creativity can kind of run based off those things. But like, yeah, they're all over the place. It's intense. And then a lot of the times, depending on if you're if you're working staff, if you're a press, you get 3 songs in the pit. That's it. Then you're out. The bands do that because they want to look their freshest. They don't want to be sweaty in all the press photographs. If you're working for the festival, you can generally stay sometimes depending on how big the act is. But mostly you want to get your shots in those first 3 or 4 songs before they're sweaty. That means there's 1,000 cameras, more like, I don't know how many, 100 cameras in there. Everyone's pointing, they're trying to get the same shot. You don't want to go over people. You don't want to stick your camera in the wrong direction, right? And someone's shot. It can be very nerve wracking. And on top of all that, you don't have control of light. So you're trying to, make it as beautiful as possible. It can be nerve wracking to shoot stage.
Well, you guys do an awesome job. And I think, that year Kanye was there, I think he was looking for you. He kept saying, where the press at?
Oh, God.
We have so much talent in here. I know we're coming close to time, but for those of you watching, do you have any advice to any aspiring filmmakers, like videographers, photographers? What would be the biggest tip you can give for someone trying to like take it to the next level?
It's a really hard and loaded question, but festival photography is a lifestyle. So if you really want to make it, you kind of have to go all in, which is not really great on your bank account, but it's great on your life stories. But if you want to get your professional camera in, let's just start at the basics, right? Think outside the box. So press, working for a sponsor, working with the artist directly, working with a charity that's involved, working for a fashion clothing brand that has a booth at the festival, done that. Anybody that has a booth or a purpose at the festival wants documentation. So whether you get paid or not, just go with your heart open and your camera gear ready. Again, Bonnaroo, anything is possible. Even if you don't have a pass, I'm sure you'll find a way to get it in. and just make sure it comes from the heart. If you're one with the people, you can capture that photo or that video moment so organically and so candid, and you're capturing people's favorite moments in their fucking lives. Sorry, in their lives, and they're gonna want that. But if you are a Bonnaroovian with them, then you can capture that moment versus being an outsider. So I prefer running around the fields versus the photo pit. But if you get the photo pit, use it, work it, love it. But it's really about the people, and just keep trying. We all figured out how to get our camera in, not the proper way the first time, and now we're doing it for real. So just
Bravo.
do it. Just follow through.
Yeah. Yvonne, how about your tip?
I mean, honestly, that was so spot on, Brittany. That was like so spot on. Press, you go as press, find a local publication, vendor, everything Brittany said. That is how you do it. I will add, this is a little trick if you guys want to know, because this is how I started. I snuck in my camera at Bonnaroo 2014. That was when I started festival photography. I would wear a scarf around my body, and I had my camera under the body, like under the scarf, and I would go through the security and I'd be like, yeah, like, hey, how's it going? And I'd look, I'm basically telling you how to sneak into your camera. Okay, sue me. So that's how we all started. That's how the three of us started, FYI. But you look for the friendliest security guard and you have the camera under the scarf in the back, and then you go in and you're like, oh yeah, check my fanny pack, check my bag. And then you circle around. Anyway, it becomes like a technique, but
it's an art form.
There's a form. Everything Brittany said is like the professional way to go. And then the scarf route is like the alternative.
When you've exhausted all your other options, then go that one.
Girl, I'm with you. I call it the optical illusion effect. You're like, look at this canister of water. It might be vodka. Examine this while I get my camera in over here. Yes,
exactly. Under a scarf, the camera's draped around you. It worked for 2 years, and then I was good. Jay, how did you get your start? How did you sneak your camera in?
That's a really good question. I think while you said that, I was trying to remember. I don't know. I don't remember. I think I must have put it in my pants. I think they definitely put it in my pants, but I don't remember like how I did it. This is almost 8 or 9 years ago now. Because it was big. The DSLR, I mean, the lens is probably this big. It was like a kit lens, but it still had bulk, I don't know. They like at the end of the day, it's not a big deal, but they're looking for drugs, right? So then you're kind of like just stuffing the things like it is drugs. It's weird. It's a weird thing to sneak in a camera lens.
Yeah.
Very strange.
Real quick, there's one question from the audience. Do you have a favorite picture that you took from Bonnaroo?
Oh, wow.
Or maybe one that just kind of sticks out as just like, a really iconic photo.
I have an image that I took. It's I do video, so I pull stills from it. But like it's the one that from 2019, and we're running across the field. I got my huge camera on my shoulder. Something's happened. Maybe it was a text from Ron. Who knows what we were running from? And I got my producer and my other team members with me, and then I just stop, and they keep on running because I just see a couple in the grass, just totally embracing, just kissing, and they're just like no one else is around. Like people are everywhere, but like they're in their own worlds, and it's just like a perfect festival moment. It's the light was like 6:30. It was like light was coming in perfectly. That's my favorite image for sure. Wish I could show it. I hope I painted it at least.
That's pretty, yeah.
You'll have to post it in your Insta story tonight, okay?
Okay.
How about all three? We'll all post our Insta stories tonight. Yeah. Okay. Deal.
There we go. Pictures,
Yeah,
pictures more than words. And I know we're wrapping up here. Casey, any final thoughts?
Well, yeah, Yvonne, Brittany, do you guys have a favorite one you want to share real quick before we go?
Sure, yeah. So I'll make this quick, but I wanted to mention how, so there's a nonprofit called Life Under the Wheel. Again, Yvonne got me in touch with them, and it's a wish granting nonprofit that sends individuals living with life threatening illnesses to music festivals. And this was the first time where I felt like I can actually maybe give back instead of just documenting. And you guys at Parachute People helped this moment come to life where the two winners of this experience were standing right in front of the beautiful parachute and all these loving people embracing them at their first festival Bonnaroo experience. And I love witnessing people's firsts. I always say that, but it was just a beautiful moment to see like my community, which is you guys, come together and help make these two people's experience 1,000 times better by making this picture perfect moment. So I like that picture. There's many, but I like that one.
That was beautiful. Yvonne?
Yeah, I'll mention it really quickly. It was 2014, and the first thing that came to mind was it was 2014, the first year I snuck in my professional camera. I rode like a 18-hour-long car ride with strangers from New York City. A brutal car trip, and I got out of the car and we parked in campground, like out in the campgrounds, and we got out of the car and we made it to Bonnaroo. It was like my 7th Bonnaroo or something. But I had my professional camera, and there was a double rainbow when we arrived at Bonnaroo 2014, like in the sky. And that turned out to be the very first photo that I took at Bonnaroo with my professional camera, not like a shitty like cell phone or whatever. So to me, that it's just an iconic, special image of the double rainbow 2014. Some people remember that double rainbow Thursday around like whenever we were all parking. That's a favorite of mine.
It's always special when a rainbow shows up at Bonnaroo. I know, Brittany, you said you've seen them every time, so that's special.
Exactly.
Wow. Well, awesome. Thank you so much, all of you. Jay, Brittany, Yvonne, thank you so much for being a part of this. Thank you for sharing your stories and your time. This has been amazing. I couldn't have asked for a better way to wrap this up for the weekend. I mean, yeah, Bonnaroo's a special place for all of us. You guys help capture those special moments and help us remember them by being there and just like showing us, like Jay was saying, capturing the light in a way that just really elevates what those moments so that we can feel it again. So I mean, we're trying to remember it here by telling stories, but you guys tell stories through the work that you do. So thank you so much for that.
You're the same. Thank you.
Love you guys.
We want
So much
to
love.
wrap this up.
In love Parachute, we love you guys. We didn't give any love. Hey, sorry. We didn't give any love to Rooshoot. And you guys are a huge part of the community. You guys have done so much for the community. Like, seriously, I'm sorry. We had to say that. And I know Jay and Brittany, we all know.
Oh yeah, you guys just make it so easy for us to have that backbone of like, where it's, I don't know what we would do without you guys at this point, because it's like, you guys let us know. We are always trying to be a part of what's happening on the inside by still working on the outside, and you guys are direct line in. I love it. It's amazing.
Yeah, thank you for making a family within a family at Bonnaroo and make an iconic rainbow that we can all find each other at, because you're like, I'm by the amazing parachute, and you can find anyone that you need to meet. You just have a bunch of amazing people following you guys. So it's a great community. Thank you.
and the mental health awareness. I think that it would be a disservice to Rooshoot if we don't mention that. I'm just gotta say, Ron, you know, I love you so much. And Reshoot has done a lot for Bonnaroovians to end the stigma and give people power to know that they're not alone in any dark period of their life. And this has been a dark year.
Mhm.
And you've brought a lot of light this weekend, at least to let us all reminisce. So I just had to say that.
Oh,
Love you.
that means a lot. Uh, um, and even outside Bonnaroo, like, I mean, you guys here, like, we've seen each other at so many other festivals, and a lot of people don't know that. And like, I consider you guys some really good friends. Like, Bonnaroo is just one facet of our festival experience, but like, I'm so glad we fostered this sort of community together, and I think there's going to be a lot of awesome things like to collaborate upon in years to come.
It's gonna feel so good to meet under the rainbow again.
Well, let's do our sign off.
All right, Casey, start us off.
All right. Teamwork makes the
Dream work because
Real
Change.
Happens.
together.
that was probably the best
Awesome.
one. One go.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you so much, guys, and I'll be hanging. I mean, if you gotta go, you gotta go. I'll be hanging out for another like 15.